Baby, baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby, baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby, baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby, baby Yoda. The galaxy is going to hell, but we've fallen under your spell, baby, little baby, you're the one. Baby Yoda, baby, baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby, baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby, baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby, baby Yoda. There's a dark side and a light, but I never knew I needed you in my life, baby. Oh, baby, you're the one. Baby Yoda, baby, baby Yoda, 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 baby Yoda, baby, baby Yoda.
Hey, it's Christopher, and welcome back to Winning, Watching, and Wrecking, and Road Course, Mayhem, and the rain, and what a disaster of a race. I don't know what you thought of it, but it's a pile of hot garbage, was it not? Don't go back to Austin, Texas, whatever you do. Bring Texas Motor Speedway back to the schedule next year in 2022. And let's just leave that as a faded memory of days gone by. I do not want to see that road course again, even under clear skies and sunshine. I want no part of that road course. But the good news is this week we're back to the home for many of the race teams, Charlotte, North Carolina. Sort of the second birthplace of NASCAR racing, and the beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway, Coke 600 marquee event, one of the crown jewel events on the circuit. Indy 500 weekend for the IndyCar series. Monaco last week, so all the marquee races you always see in the end of May are in the books by the end of this weekend. As you're hearing this podcast, I'm a bit behind. Sorry for that. Busy week in my day-to-day living outside of this podcast. I hope you'll accept my sincerest apology, and I'll be back at a regular time next week, but I just want to get the episode in, and let's get started. So Chase Elliott will win his first race of 2021, making Amanda very happy because for some reason she likes the number 9. I like the number 9 too. My birth month is the 9th month. I lived in a house that was 29, so I have a real fixation for the number 9. 6th road course win of his career, out of his 12 career wins. He's become somewhat of the road warrior, and I don't mean hawk and animal. Well, not that guy. A different road warrior, not Mel Gibson as Mad Max, the road warrior. It's his 4th consecutive year for at least one win in a season for him, and 4th consecutive week in a top 10. Now he's 5th in the points, leads only 5 laps, but best laps to lead, right? The last 5. This win ties Petty Enterprises with a total of 268. Hendrick Motorsports shatter that any day now. Could be this Sunday at the 600. Chevy, 800 wins. Hendrick also secured the 4th 100 win. 5th 100, 500, 600, and 700 win for the manufacturer. So Petty Enterprises has held this record for over 60 years. Well, it was a nice run for that's one Petty Enterprise record that'll be shattered. I don't think the 200 wins. I think that's pretty safe. Don't see anyone that can match that at this time, and Father Time is not on their side. Hendrick team red hot. All 4 cars fresh off their triumph at Dover, and now the checkered flag at Austin, Texas with Chase Elliott. Disaster of a race, really. It ended 14 laps short of the finish of the scheduled distance. Elliott had been said on the radio, talking to his crew, that he was going to be 2 laps short on fuel had this gone the distance. So another tough break for teammate Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott is now tied for 3rd all-time in wins on a road course. That's 6 of them. He's tied with Rusty Wallace, Hall of Famer, and I think should be a Hall of Famer, Ricky Rudd. Heck of a driver. There was a poll Amanda sent to me from NASCAR on Fox, I believe, on Instagram, and they had the top 5 toughest drivers, and I agreed with it, except for Tony Stewart was the 5th name listed on that list that Fox Sports compiled. Disagree. I think it's Ricky Rudd in there. Remember Martinsville, fall of 1998. This guy was pretty much on his deathbed, wins the race, and keeps his streak alive to that point. But second on that list is Tony Stewart, and Jeff Gordon, of course, like most Jeff Gordon-esque things, is number 1 in most records in NASCAR Cup racing. But Elliott with 6 wins, it's mighty impressive in such a short period of time. Lots of road course racing left. You have Mid-Ohio, Sonoma next weekend, Watkins Glen, the Roval. Indianapolis is a road course race this year, so lots of time for Chase to surpass Jeff Gordon. I don't know if it's going to do it quite this season, but more than likely will surpass that record at some point in his career. That's not really someone I thought of when I think of road course racing. I didn't think of Chase Elliott, but now we're starting to think of him in that vein, that he is the road warrior, and this is a good way to get his season started. Inconsistency has always kind of been his mantra through his Cup Series career, but I like what I see. I think Hendrick is in their own zone right now. They're in just head above the competition, and I don't see anybody dethroning them anytime too soon. It seems like Penske's in a bit of disarray at this point. A lot of news about Brad Keselowski. More follow-up on that is that he was asked about it at Charlotte. There was the first media scrum in over a year at a NASCAR track, and he didn't deny the rumor, neither did Jack Roush. They're playing it cool, but Joey Logano recently spoke out about that. Said he wasn't really shocked that Keselowski was thinking of leaving the organization, and I'm pretty sure that that's all but a done deal. You just got to put ink to paper, and that's pretty cool. I think Roush Fenway Racing has to get back to where they were. They've had a pretty good year this year with Chris Buescher, but it's not like the Roush Racing of old. And Joe Gibbs Racing has sort of cooled off a bit. It's wide open competition. Stewart Haas Racing has yet to get going, so Hendrick's taken full advantage of that. Great roster, 4 really talented young drivers that are the face of the sport going into the next decade, and good win for Chase Elliott here. Alan Gustafson, his crew chief, 32nd career win as a crew chief in Cup. Some of those came with Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch. So he's been surrounded by really good talent his whole career. And Chase will now make his 200 career start at Charlotte. Good place to make it. Maybe he'll make good on that win in his 200 start, and also send Hendrick into immortality with their 269th win as a team in the Cup Series. And Elliott is the 11th different winner in 2021. So if you're looking at the playoff picture, Elliott is in the playoffs secured. So I think is Harvick and Denny Hamlin based on points. Essentially got 3 spots up for grabs unless somebody plays the role of spoiler like an Anthony Alfredo, a Corey LaJoie. I know that sounds like a long shot and you think, what am I on? But it very well could happen. It's you can never count anyone out when the checkered flag flies or the green flag waves, whatever the case may be. There's many ways you can alter a race. Like this race here, we might not be talking about Chase Elliott winning his 6th road course race had this race went the full distance. A lot of criticism about this race, and I was critical of it. I didn't enjoy it. I thought Saturday's Xfinity race, which we'll talk about later in the program, was garbage. It was not exciting at all. Seeing someone just blister the field is not fun. I don't enjoy that type of racing. I think it's disappointing, to say the least. And let's go to NASCAR Report now. Let's see what the masses has to say about Chase Elliott winning at the Circuit of Americas which a lot of folks like to call CODA, which again, not a big fan of the acronyms. NASCAR time. He leads it off here, and he says, could have made this one any more obvious, NASCAR. So there's a bunch of conspiracy theorists out there. Think this is all rigged. Poor deluded people. Poor deluded, delusional fools. Mikey Liberetti says to NASCAR time, my guy, this is nothing new. And then we have Will Barbletta to Mikey. Have you looked at the radar? Conditions were totally unsafe, and the rain wasn't letting up anytime soon. I don't like Chase, but come on, y'all. They did the right thing. And remember what we learned from Spike Lee in 1989. Do the right thing. Always do the right thing. NASCAR time to Will. They had the whole 2 hours to try and work it out. They called it 10 minutes after throwing the red. It's blatant. Then Mustang to Mr. Will. Took them long enough. I guess 6 cars wrecked before then. Then Mikey back to Will. That's what I was referring to. Ending the race when the conditions are shitty is nothing new. Should have made it more clear. That's on me. And then, is that Jeff Jackman? Oh my God, is that Jeff Jackman? The NASCAR time. IKR. Again, acronyms. It's a joke. May have actually had an interesting finish. I don't know what IKR means. Help me out there, people. What does IKR mean? That's one acronym I'm not too sure of. Hi, my name is Eric. Well, hi, Eric. My name is Christopher. So, yeah. To NASCAR time. Obvious to what? And then there's a question mark. Then Hayden 73H to NASCAR time. The race was way worse than it had been all race, and it wasn't stopping at all. I wish I could have went to the end, but it was right to call. Even F1 would have called it at that point. And then Will back to NASCAR time. Again, buddy. I don't have to tell you twice. You got to look at the radar. It wasn't raining that hard when the wrecks happened. And when they threw the red flag, it got harder and harder. It got harder. And it wasn't stopping soon. Oh, my God. Wildman 18 KB. So I guess he's the Wildman Kyle Busch fan at 18. To Will. 4 hours left is sun. But they did the right thing. Did I do the right thing? I think I did the right thing. Did I do the right thing? Kerry Weiner. How about 5 laps before that? It was bad conditions. But they waited until Chase took the lead, and they cost Kurt any chance of pointing his way into the playoffs. Now, okay, listen. Let's take a swig of Monster Energy there. Very good. All right, wow, man. I guess you might be a Kyle Busch or a Kurt Busch fan. I maybe read that wrong. Kurt wasn't going to win this race. He had a tremendous save. He went out into the gravel, the sand trap, got his way out of there. Car was in excellent condition. Kurt Busch wasn't going to win this race, so don't feel so bad. It's not NASCAR trying to keep him out of the playoff. Chip Ganassi Racing has been on the back end for a couple of years now, even when Kyle Larson was there. This is a team that's still trying to find themselves. I know they get wins every year with Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch surprised a lot of folks when he went in this car. A lot of people thought this was his Waterloo signing here. But he has another opportunity. Kurt Busch is if you're a real big fan of this guy, like you say you are, talented driver, championship caliber, he's going to find a way to win. And if he doesn't win, well, maybe Father Time is caught up with him. And Keep Calm and Curl. I wonder who that person is. The amazing, beautiful Amanda, my partner. Happy Elliott fan over here. And she's got the, raise your hand. I guess it looks like the diamond cutter emoji from WCW fame, Diamond Dallas Page. And then Quapple Nation. Miska Mosca Mickey Mouse. Whatever the fuck that means. And I can't believe you're a Travis Quapple supporter. And then your mama solid me crack, LOL. Whatever the fuck that means. It's Cry some more, he says to Quapple Nation. And then Quapple Nation, back to your mama sold crack, LOL. Sold me crack. Okay, your mama just didn't sell anyone crack. He sold me crack. Has a mouse emoji. And then your mama, back to Quapple Nation. Boo-hoo. And then NASCAR _ Jarrett to Quapple Nation. Cry, hater. Martin Truex Jr. fan 2021. NASCAR just gave him the win. And a lot of people here are not happy about the Chase Elliott win. And Razman9 to Truex Jr. fan 21. There's another one. And then Dalton Naylock 9 to Martin Truex Jr. 100% agreed. NASCAR basically dick rides Elliott at this point because he's the most popular driver. They just gave him the win at Martinsville and Phoenix last year. They don't just give people wins. Come on. These people claim to be NASCAR fans, but yet they're just out there. If you're so pissed off with the state of the sport, I got news for you folks. Stop fucking watching it. Don't like it, don't watch it. I used to know this guy. I'm a really nice dude. I don't know, I'll say that. Maybe I'm a little more good to people than I should be. But as I preach on this podcast all the time, you got to be good to one another, and you do. But you have to have boundaries and you have to have limits. So this guy named Taman Ha, this really socially awkward, chubby Asian guy. Not that matters that he's Asian or that he's chubby. Okay, we're not fat shaming him here. We're not getting down that rabbit hole. But the dude, whether he was black, white, Asian, like me, First Nation, from Ethiopia, doesn't matter where he was from. He's an socially awkward individual. Would say all the time how much he hated the Canadian Football League and CFL was garbage. He used to call the local team here the Ottawa Red Blacks, the Ottawa Dead Blacks, and say how much the NFL was more superior than the NFL. That might be, the NFL was more superior than the CFL, and that might be the case. But again, I told him one time, I said, look at this analogy. Do you like opera music? And he faintly said to me, no, I do not like opera music. And I said, well, would you listen to it? And if you don't like the CFL, don't fucking watch it. But don't hate on something for the sake of hating on it. If you're going to enjoy something, take what happens. Just take it on the chin. In any sport, NASCAR, whether it be NASCAR, whether it be MLB, NBA, NFL, you're going to have your favorites. They're going to be winners and losers. Sometimes it might not always go your way. It's painful being a supporter of the Carolina Panthers at times. They've had their ups and downs. But you never, ever complain about it and say, this is rigged. Well, Carolina lost the Super Bowl on a very controversial field goal by the recently retired Adam Vinatieri. Happy trails to you, sir. Did I cry about it? Did I say the NFL screwed the Panthers? No. It just wasn't their day. It wasn't their time. So for all these disgruntled NASCAR fans out there, go fuck yourself. So Kyle Larson, second place finish here. He's gleaming the cube again, isn't he? Would have likely had a shot at the win had this race gone the distance. Third consecutive week as the runner-up, started becoming the Buffalo Bills of NASCAR. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. But he did win this year. Let's point that out. He did win Las Vegas. I know some people were getting hot there at NASCAR Report last week. He hasn't won a race yet. Yes, he has. And he should have one more. 7th top 5 finish of 2021. Led 4 laps. Hendrick is going for 3 consecutive wins at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the 600. The last time they did this was in the fall of 2015, where you had Martinsville, Jeff Gordon triumph. That was a big victory for him at that time. Then you had Texas, Jimmy Johnson, and then at Phoenix, Dale Jr. won. And the last time a Hendrick driver won the Coke 600, you got to go way, way back to 9 years ago. Casey Kane in May of 2012 triumphed at the 600. Joey Logano, third place finish here, led 14 laps. Was looking like he had a shot at this at certain pockets of the race, and second consecutive week in the top 5. 6 top 5s for 2021, remains 4th in the points. And Ross Chastain, round of applause. Career best finish, 4th, led 4 laps. Up front for most of this race. Had it gone the distance, maybe he had a shot at this. Who knows? At least a good runner-up finish, or maybe a third. but he'll take a fourth year. First top 10 since the Daytona 500 in February, and the 42 team is just building a lot of momentum here. And I think Chip Ganassi is an organization in flux. I know Kurt Busch's future yet to be determined. We're not sure if he'll come back next year or who will even fill the number one team if he so chooses to retire and fill the seat of that car. TBA. I'm doing it now. To be announced. The team is building momentum. 7th week in the top 20. 6 of those 7 finishes are in the top 15. So this team is getting stronger as Ross Chastain becomes more comfortable in his new home and would need a win still to make the playoffs. He's 20th in the points now, 58 points below the cut line. But as you continue to string together consistent finishes like this, you might find yourself come late July, early August in a real good position to just go for broke here and see what happens. Maybe you might get that 16th spot. But Ross Chastain is improving as a driver in the Cup Series. If you would have told me this 3-4 years ago that he would be in this 42 team and building this kind of momentum, I would have said, I don't know if I see Ross Chastain really as a Cup driver, but I guess everybody's sort of fallen for that watermelon farmer story and how it's an incredible story is what it is. You have a watermelon farmer here from Florida who has become a pretty accomplished NASCAR driver. So good for Ross there, Ross Chastain. A.J. Allmendinger, 5th place finish here. First top 5 since Daytona in July of 2018. So almost 4 years since his last... almost 3 years. I'm getting ahead of myself again here. It's Saturday. I'm feeling like I want to get outside here soon. And really, really nice weather here today in the capital of Canada, Ottawa, Ontario. But that's for another time. Let's talk about A.J. Allmendinger. And yeah, almost 3 years since his last top 5. His first top 5 for Colleague Racing and Cup. 3rd top 10 in 5 starts for this team. They always make the most of their opportunities in the Cup Series. That's why I think Colleague, when they arrive next year, they are going to be a major player, and it depends on who they're going to choose to drive their cars. A lot of people would love to see A.J. Allmendinger take another run at Cup, but I think his time with the Cup Series is over as a full-time competitor. But you'll see him here in these one-offs, and it's good to see him still running up front, and always has a positive demeanor when they interviewed him during the red flag. Just again, you see a lot of... I don't see this in drivers anymore, how much A.J. Allmendinger really enjoys driving race cars for Colleague, and is just grateful for an opportunity to be back in a top-tier equipment. And his career, as I said, has gone through so many reincarnations, but through it all, A.J. Allmendinger still one of the most fierce and respected competitors on the racetrack. Chase Briscoe, 6th place finish for him. This is Chase's best finish in his rookie year, and what is pretty much a forgotten season. Chase Briscoe is making strides each and every week. You see this; he's improving, getting better in the seat, and it's what it is. Seat time is paramount, and maybe he should have ran some Cup races prior to taking this 14 car, filling the seat this year, but really making great gains, and he could be out there being a fierce competitor in the Xfinity Series and having a shot at wins. But in this case, he's enjoying his time, and it's good to see that he's making progress. And 4 top 20 finishes in the last 5 races. So this is what I mean. In an all but lost season for Stewart-Haas Racing, it's Chase Briscoe is finding ways to improve his driving style so he can be a factor next year. He can be a factor later on this year. And Stewart-Haas Racing, as I said, has really struggled, but I think you might see things turn around for them much sooner than later. And it was reported this week that Chase Briscoe will return to the Xfinity Series for BJ McLeod Racing. He's going to run some races for them, and after the very successful year that Briscoe had last year in the Xfinity Series, and then BJ McLeod off that first ever top 5 finish for them, second top 5 finish, excuse me, I don't want to be leading you with false information here, but he will run for BJ McLeod Motorsports this weekend at Charlotte. So Chase Briscoe will be back in the Xfinity Series, fresh off his best finish in 2021. And I'll just report this before we keep going, and which ran across my radar here on NASCAR Report, that regardless if and when ink is put to paper that Brad Keselowski does become the driver of the number 6 car, Ryan Newman has stated that he still wants to continue racing amid the rumors that Brad Keselowski could join Rushman Racing in an ownership role in 2022. That would see him in the 6 car as well. If Newman were to be out of the 6 car after 3 seasons, unless Roush expands to 3-car organization, he could look to the open market of available rides. While it is unknown what teams would be interested in bringing on Newman for 2022, Stewart-Haas Racing, Chip Ganassi Racing, and 2311 stand out as some of the teams that could have an open seat for next season. And I still haven't accomplished what I want to accomplish, says Newman, referring to his NASCAR Series Cup Series title as he continues to chase. Newman came closest in 2014, finishing just behind Kevin Harvick for the title, driving for Richard Childress Racing. So that's interesting that Newman was not interested in retiring. He still would like to come back at some capacity in 2022. But from this report, what I think is most interesting is how they're thinking that Stewart-Haas Racing is going to have some open seats. It's already been there before. I think that didn't end as well as Newman would like to have. Saw him on the outside looking in at Stewart-Haas. But does that mean that Eric Almirola could be out of there? He's the only driver, I think. Cole Custer ain't going anywhere. 1 year with Briscoe? I don't know. We're just bragging on him here. I don't know. Chip Ganassi, we think the seat is available, as we talked about with Kurt Busch, but 2311. Does that mean Bubba Wallace is going to get the boot after one season? We'll wait and see. Michael McDowell, 7th place finish here. I digress. Let's go back to the race from last week. 7th place finish, leads 3 laps, 5th top 10 of 2021. Having a really solid season, surpasses his career finish in top 10 finishes that he posted a year ago with 4, and he's 16th in the points. Had he not even won the Daytona 500, he would still be hanging around here and in position above the cut line to be in the playoffs. And Michael McDowell's having a really solid year toward the back end of his career, really. He's been around a long time, but it's nice to see this front row team and Michael McDowell enjoying success on the racetrack. And Alex Bowman was 8th place here, leading 3 laps here in the finish. 6th top 10 of 2021. Now 12th in the points, and is really rating on the same wave of momentum that Hendrick Motorsports is enjoying at the moment. And this team is putting together solid finishes. And that's been our one complaint about Alex Bowman throughout his career, is how inconsistent he can be. One week he looks stellar, and the next week he just kind of looks mediocre and kind of there. So we'll just have to see how things unfold for Alex Bowman the rest of the way. And Tyler Reddick from the pole finishes 9th, 4th top 10 in the last 5 races, 7th overall in 2021, and 6th of the last 8 races, top 10 finishes. This team is on fire. RCR quietly is making a lot of headlines. Both drivers would be in the playoffs if it ended today. So he's going to be one of those drivers that's going to be above that cut line, below it, maybe on some weeks. And he kind of needs that win, and you feel like this team is building that momentum towards this win. And this is the first pole for RCR on a road course since 1996 at Watkins Glen, with the late great Dale Earnhardt at the wheel. So this team, as I said, is making a lot of their opportunities, and it's good to see Tyler Reddick having good finishes. And same thing with Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon won this race on fuel mileage back in 2017, the race coming up, the Coke 600. So these are 2 drivers to keep your eye on for sure. Very solid season. So I think this whole thing was a good race for him on Saturday as well, with Jordan Anderson Racing giving them their first start of the year. So he got a lot of seat time, valuable seat time. I think that's what helped Reddick, propelled him to this 9th place finish, was running that Xfinity race, getting those extra laps on Saturday afternoon that translated into some success on Sunday. And Kyle Busch, the winner from the day before in Saturday Xfinity race, 10th place finish, 8 top 10 of 2021, and 3rd top 10 in the last 4 races. So he's been the best of the JGR cars in the last couple of weeks. So Kyle Busch had some issues at Dover, but has really run well in recent weeks, and kind of felt like he might have a shot at winning this one as he looked so strong on Saturday, but that would not be the case. William Byron, 11th place finish. Unfortunately, this top 10 streak will end at 10. I was really getting behind Byron. I think each and every week it was, he made it again. Not this week, but maybe he can start a new streak at Charlotte. Remains second in the points. Career year for Byron, and is definitely one of those people that you could pencil in as a title contender. And who knows, maybe Hendrick could pull off some more history on their illustrious resume and have 4 drivers in the Final 4 at Phoenix. So the odds of that are long, but if anyone can do it, it's Hendrick Motorsports. Austin Dillon, 12th place finish. 7th consecutive top 20 finish. 6 of those are in the top 15, and RCR is very fast in recent weeks, as we were saying. And he also ran the Xfinity race on Saturday, got himself some seat time in here, and it's a testament really to RCR that he can keep these 2 cars in the playoffs amidst all this fierce competition we were seeing in the Cup Series this year. To have Dillon and Reddick, if it ended today, would be going to the playoffs and having an opportunity to compete for the Cup title. So really not a props to RCR and maintaining their place in NASCAR history and continuing to evolve with as the sport evolves itself. Chris Buescher, 13th place finish here, 13th in the points. Team is stronger than ever. I think 11 of the last 14 races in the top 20, 3 top 10s in 2021. And it's another team that I think is holding their own in the face of adversity. Chris Buescher, I think he has to feel really optimistic about the future. Hey, if he remains here at Rose Federation, which I hope he would, with Brad Keselowski likely to come here next year, that could be a pretty, really strong duo, him and Keselowski. And I think if Buescher does find his way into the playoffs this year, it's a testament to how much iron will this young guy has, and good driver. And I hope that more good things are on the way for him. Ryan Preece, 15th place finish. I know not that big of a deal, but he led 2 laps. This guy just won't say die, man. I think he has nothing really, as Mike Joy even pointed out. Someone should really consider him for an opportunity next year. He loves to drive race cars. He's a very competitive guy. He wants to be in winning equipment. It's not saying anything on JTG Doherty, but there's no real future beyond these next few races for him. He shows up each and every week, works really hard, 2 top 10 finishes, 7 finishes inside the top 20. Ryan Preece is not looking at the future so much with JTG Doherty. There may be no future with JTG Doherty, but he still, again, shows up every week. Could phone this in, does not do this, continues to impress me, and I think Ryan Preece is deserving of an opportunity with a top-tier team really soon, but making the most of what he has with JTG Doherty Racing, and leads a couple laps here, looked really strong, and was just in the picture all day. Every time you see the running order, Ryan Preece is inside that top 20. And Corey LaJoie, 20th place finish for him, ran as high as 5th in this race, so it's nice to see the 7-car amongst the leaders, and the best finish for him since his 9th place at the Daytona 500 way back in February. So good morale boost for Spire Motorsports and Corey LaJoie. I know it hasn't been the year they were anticipating going into this. There was a lot of expectations, high hopes that this team could be the underdog team that captivates the NASCAR community. That's not the case, but Corey LaJoie continuing, much like Ryan Preece, to soldier on, and maybe there might be some greener pastures ahead for both these young drivers, but really impressive run for Corey LaJoie, and it was really cool to see him in the top 5. For a small portion of this race, and Austin Cindric, 25th place finish, but led 4 laps in the early get-go, had a really strong showing. Most laps led in 5 Cup starts for him, so Cindric is going to be a player next year if he's behind the wheel of the 21 car or the 2 car, but Cindric is really good driver, and I'm starting to gain a lot. He's starting to gain a lot more respect amongst his peers in the sport, and I'm starting to really see that this is a driver that is going to be someone to watch in the next 5 to 10 years in the Cup Series, and won't be too long before he's rolling off Cup wins, and he's really odds-on favorite again to repeat as the Xfinity Series champion. Disappointment of the race? Well, there's many of them. But to me, it's the racing surface. It's this track. I think this race should have been called, or at least postponed, maybe. I'm not sure what the time frame was. It seemed like they're adamant to get that in. They have rain tires. This is not the F1 series. It's not even the IndyCar series. I think stock cars running those high speeds, visibility was piss poor. Wasn't a really advisable idea for NASCAR to get this race in, and to me, it left a sour taste in my mouth, and I hope they never go back to this racetrack. I think this should be a one and done for NASCAR at the Circuit of Americas, but the track just produced some really gnarly wrecks that I thought could have been avoided. Martin Truex Jr. finishes 35th here, worst finish of 2021, falls to 6th in the points. On lap 26, Truex ran into the rear of Michael McDowell. Visibility said he could not see nothing, and they showed the in-car camera. Absolutely atrocious. Custer could not see him, tries to slow up, but gets into the back of Martin Truex Jr., lifts the car off the ground. Custer's car bursts into flames. Fortunately, both drivers are okay and were able to get into the infield care center, but were released. No injuries, but that could have escalated quickly, and that could have been a lot more of a vicious wreck than it was. And Cole Custer would finish 36th, his second race to end in a crash in the last 3 weeks, falls to 27th in points. So tough day for Cole Custer, tough day for Martin Truex Jr., but and a needless wreck that maybe could have been avoided and cost these two guys a shot at a really good finish. You know, Custer really needs it. I know he's not having the season that he hoped for from a year ago, was in the playoffs, had the win. Much different looking season this year. It's the tale of two seasons, but vicious wreck. And Kevin Harvick was 37th place here. His worst finish of 2021, ending a streak of 4 consecutive top 10 finishes. And Harvick was quite outspoken during the event when he got out of his race car, and he just didn't hold back, man. He said he had no business being out there in the rain, period, and that's the most unsafe he said he's felt in his racing career. Very tough break, and I know he caught, again, visibility that got in his in-car cam, had some shots from there, was not good. I just don't see how you can think this was okay to run this race in those horrid conditions. Christopher Bell, 38th place finish, worst of 2021. So you see a theme here, worst. No top 10s, no top 5 finish or 10 finish since Richmond. That's really, Christopher Bell has also just not lived up to the hype, I think, and the expectations he's had in the 20 car. So we'll see what happens with him. But again, not his fault this weekend. Bubba Wallace, 39th place finish, 23rd in the points. This just horrid season from hell continues for Bubba Wallace. Has yet to record a top 5 or top 10. Almost halfway through the season. So much hype on 23XI coming in. Michael Jordan, a great ambassador for the sport. Denny Hamlin, you know, the kind of success he's had. And NASCAR, and just this is falling flat. This could be straight out of the book of bad ideas. This, for whatever reason, 23XI Racing has not enjoyed the success that most people thought they would. And Bubba Wallace, I don't know, time's ticking, man. You got to put your money where your mouth is sometime and step your game up. But another poor finish. No fault of his own this week, but again, it just adds on to the already trying and difficult times he's had this season, so it can't be easy to be Bubba Wallace right now. So we'll turn our attention toward the Xfinity Series. They ran on Saturday. Much better conditions. No rain in sight there. Kyle Busch wins that his first race of 2021. This is now 18 consecutive years, at least one win in the Xfinity Series, and 98 career wins. 2 away from the milestone of 100. And then he said he would call it a career in the Xfinity Series once he reaches that plateau. leads 35 laps of the 46th run, and this is his 11th, 11-second victory. So that is just saying that was that kind of day. The 54 Skittles gummy card did not have was just flawless. They didn't have any issues all day, and third road course series win for Kyle Busch in the Xfinity series. 2017 at Watkins Glen, Mexico City back in 2008, and also in the post race, gave a shout out to Montreal, saying that's one that got away from him. He wished he could have had that one back and won that. I was in attendance at that race when he was driving the Monster Energy car. And I would really risk racing would come back to Montreal. It's greatly missed, and some bad news this week for Canadian racing on road courses, that the Camping World Truck Series race that was originally scheduled for later this summer, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, will be moved to Darlington due to the logistical challenges resulting from the ongoing pandemic. NASCAR has shifted the second race in the Camping World Truck Series playoffs, originally scheduled to take place in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada, at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, to Darlington Raceway. The race will be the first of the playoff doubleheader at Darlington, and will begin its originally scheduled time Sunday, September 5th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. So that's tough. I mean, I still want to get out to Bowmanville one day to see a truck race, but I understand as in America, things are going a lot better with the COVID-19 pandemic. We're starting to see qualifying again, full capacity at stadiums and arenas around the country. Fortunately, here in Canada, we're just a tick behind, but we'll be able to maybe get out there next year, and I would love to see a race at Bowmanville. Please come back to Montreal, NASCAR, if you're listening. I'd love to see Xfinity Series or even the Cup Series come to Montreal. It's just a short distance here from Ottawa, so I got to see this soon. Just really want to see another NASCAR race, and this is the second time that the 54 car has won. It's the only 2 wins from Joe Gibbs Racing this year. I'm a bit stunned by this. It's come from the 54 car. Todd Gibbs was the other at the road course at Daytona back in February. So the 54 car, the only car is winning. So come on, Brandon Jones. Come on, Daniel Hemrick. Harrison Burton. This is the part-time team. This is the car that's has a carousel of drivers in it. Get the win. I mean, it's tough. AJ Allmendinger, second place finish. Now third in the points. Led 3 laps. Battled really hard, but had a blast, he said, racing with Kyle Busch. It's always, he feels like anytime he's in a race, everyone else got to step their game up to match his excellence. And 7th top 5 finish for him in 2021. 3rd in the last 4 races. So AJ Allmendinger making the most out of that full-time opportunity with Colleague Racing, and could be a sleeper for the championship. Justin Allgaier, 3rd place finish. Best of the junior motorsports cards this week. 3rd consecutive top 5 finish. He's now 5th in the points. And since winning Atlanta, it seems like the team is trending in the right direction, and things seem to be going really well for Justin Allgaier and the JR Motorsports team in recent weeks. And Kevin Harvick in his first Xfinity race since 2018, a 4th place finish. Best finish for this team, the BJ McLeod team, and since 2016. A previous best was David Starr, was 5th at Daytona in July of 2017. So it's a good way for Harvick to help out BJ McLeod and also get some experience on the Circuit of America's road course, which turns out later he is quite outspoken of and would probably not like to go back here next year. And let's hope they do not go back, because I don't want to see this either. I thought this was one of the worst races I've seen in a number of years on any track, on any surface. So Kevin Harvick helping out BJ McLeod Motorsports. They do have an alliance in the Cup Series with Stuart Haas Racing, the Live Fast race team. So a good story there. And Austin Cindric, 5th place finish, led 2 laps, remains the points leader. So that's 8 top 5s for him in 2021. And Harrison Burton, 6th place finish, 8th top 10 of 2021, 5th in the last 6 races. And the first time he's been 2nd in the points since the Daytona road course way back in February, but still in need of a win. Harrison Burton had such a good season last year, 4 wins. Seemed like someone that you really wanted to root for in the championship run. Didn't quite work out for him. The team has to get going, as we just said a few moments ago. JGR their only wins have come with the 54 car this year on road courses. So something's not clicking. As well as they've run collectively all three cars that are full-time on the circuit, something has to happen for this team, as they're falling just a tick behind Colleague and JR Motorsports. Cole Custer, 7th place in his Xfinity Series return. First top 10 for him in the series since Homestead 2019. And that was his first run for him in the top 10 since the Roval in 2021. That was for Rick Ware Racing, not for Cole Custer. So that's their first top 10 in 2020. Sorry, not 2021. Their first top 10 in 2021, but first since the Roval in 2019. Clear it up. No confusion there. Tyler Reddick, 8th place finish. First top 10 in 2021 for him in 3 starts. This is his third different team. First start for Jordan Anderson Racing. And another solid afternoon for Tyler Reddick in the Xfinity Series. Anytime he's in an Xfinity Series car, he's always a threat to win the race or be up front. Should have won Homestead, but got disqualified. Justin Haley, 9th place finish. Returns from the COVID protocols that kept him out of Dover. 7th top 10 finish in 2021. Falls to 7th in the standings, so missing the one race hasn't really hurt him. He's still in that playoff picture, and the team has done really well this season, but no top 5 finishes through 12 races. They had 4 at this time last year. So he seems to be getting outrun by his teammates who have already seen the winner's circle, and A.J. Allmendinger's been the cream of the crop in that organization this year. Maybe it'll all turn around. Justin Haley will reclaim his spot as the top dog at Colleague. And Jim Burton, 10th place finish. First top 10 since winning Talladega. He's now 6th in the points. And all 3 Colleague cars are in the top 10. This is the 3rd time this season they've done it where all 3 have been inside the top 10. So really consistent, good effort from Colleague Racing, and that's why they are the top team in the Xfinity Series, in my opinion, and are going to make a lot of waves in the Cup Series next year. So move on to the trucks. They ran the day also on Saturday, just prior to the Xfinity race, and Todd Gilliland would win his first race of 2021. First for Front Row Motorsports, a second career win for Gilliland, and 3rd top 5 finish. And this is his first top 5 since the Bristol Dirt Race, and he's 5th in the points. This is a big year for Front Row Motorsports. Gilliland wins here, first truck win for them, and we know about the win for Michael McDowell in the Daytona 500. Playoff team for Front Row Motorsports. They returned to the playoffs the first time since 2016 with Chris Buescher. And it's really cool to see Front Row win here. Maybe he can build something here with this truck team. But I think it'd be nice to keep Gilliland in the trucks, or maybe make this jump to the Xfinity Series with this team. But do not move him to Cup. If they move Anthony Alfredo after 1 year, it's ill-advised to put Gilliland in a Cup car. It will not go well. He will struggle, frustration. So I think Gilliland is someone that could use a lot more seat time in the Truck Series, in the Xfinity Series. At one point was seen as one of the top prospects in all of the country, and is expected to be a really good stock car driver. But there's no rush to move Gilliland up here. I think he could be a force here in the Truck Series and have a chance at winning multiple races. And I like what Front Row Motorsports is doing here. Good for them. Kaz Grella, 2nd place finish, 6th career top 5 finish in the trucks, and this is his career, but ties his career best at 2nd. And a really good year for this guy. This is his first top 5 in the for this team that he was racing for Randy Young's team. This is their first top 5 since Spencer Boyd won at Talladega in the fall of 2019. And Kaz Grella was 6th in the Cup Series race at Talladega a few weeks back. So this is a really fine young driver. I think that in much of the vein of Gilliland, I don't know if moving him to the Cup Series is advisable just yet, although he has run really well when he's been in the Cup car. Could be on Colleague's short list of drivers to promote and to help them in their Cup Series effort next year. But even a solid year in trucks, solid year in Xfinity Series. He has never run a full series schedule in the Xfinity Series. Has run trucks. You know, he pulled the upset at Daytona in 2017. But Kaz Grella is someone I think that could really stand to have another good finish here in the Truck Series and in the Xfinity Series. But he deserves to have a ride somewhere in at a full-time capacity. I just don't know what series, but we'll see what happens with him. Tyler Ingram, third place finish here. The best of the season for him was third at Richmond, and he won the pole from the race and moves up to 14th in the points, so kind of on the outside looking in right now. Was a playoff driver a year ago. Not so much this year maybe for him, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Grant Enfinger, fourth place finish, best of 2021, second consecutive top 5 finish, and 5 top 10s in a very strong season for Mr. Enfinger, 7th in the points. But it's low-key, I think, one of the best drivers that no one really talks about. Had a lot of success in ARCA, has been in the trucks for quite some time. Really talented driver, but it's just someone I think that we don't really often go to and look and say, hey, Grant Enfinger is the cream of the crop, best driver in the truck series. Had a shot at being a champion a few years back. Really close. I think this is a guy that, again, I just see so much of a future for him, but he's been around so long. It just seems like he hasn't, that he's been here so long that it doesn't seem so fresh, you know. I think Enfinger will also run the Xfinity Series for Sam Hunt Racing at Charlotte. He will replace Brandon Govic in the 26 car, Godovic. And this is his first attempt to qualify for the Xfinity Series race. And following a 6-year hiatus at his career on 1.5 mile tracks. So that's what we'll see. That's why we'll see Grant Enfinger in the 26 Sam Hunt Racing car at Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend. Other great finishers in the trucks was Sheldon Creed, 5th place finish, 3rd in the points, 2nd consecutive top 5 finish, 4 in 2021. And then Sam Meyer, 6th place finish, 2nd top 10 of 2021. Will be a very unpopular man in a few weeks when he takes the reins of the number 8 car for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series. Therefore, that will leave Josh Berry on the outside looking in, and got to have a campaign. I start the campaign now. Get the sign on to get Josh Berry in the number 8 car for the rest of the season. I know Sam Meyer is a young talent that JR Motorsports is high on, but Josh Berry, I think, exceeded expectation in the 8 car. Wins at Martinsville. I think there should make a case to put Berry in the car full time. But for all the Josh Berry fans out there, fear not. He will drive for Jordan Anderson Racing at Mid-Ohio. So he looks like he's going to bounce around. But Hendrick Motorsports, JR Motorsports, also Hendrick does provide engines and chassis for the team. So it's kind of like Hendrick's Xfinity team in a collaboration with Junior Motorsports. But got to look at signing Josh Berry and keeping him in that car for next season. You know, bump Noah Gragson out, the number 9 car, put Berry in. That's what I would do, but I don't make those decisions. Carson Hocever, 7th place finish, 2nd career top 10, and 3rd overall in 2021. He's his 2nd consecutive top 10, He's 3rd overall in 2021. Said that incorrectly. Zane Smith, 8th place finish, 5th top 10 of 2021. Still no top 5s in 2020. I had 2 at this point 1 year ago. So Zane Smith, it's not clicking for him. Not repeating the success he had a year ago. And Austin Hill, 9th place finish, remains 4th in the points. 6th top 10 finish. And Ben Rhodes, 10th place finish, 5th consecutive top 10, 2nd in points. Strong year for him continues. Only 1 finish outside of the top 10 this year. So Ben Rhodes is, whatever he's doing is clicking for him. He's found a way to elevate his career. He's been around a long time and a solid driver, but this is the pinnacle for him. And it looks like he may have an opportunity to dethrone John Henry Nemechek in November for the Truck Series Championship. And on to other news and notes from the week. Jeff Green, longtime veteran driver. Great memories of him in the number 10 Nesquik Chevrolet Ford. I think they switched to Ford from Chevrolet in their 2nd year of competition with Greg Pollock's Racing. Announced on Twitter that this is what he said. Well, that's it, folks. Time for me to kick back and enjoy the good life. And then someone responded to that saying retiring, and he confirmed that. He made his Xfinity Series debut, Green, in 1990, winning the Busch Series Championship in 2000. And from 1999 to 2001, finished no lower in Xfinity Series Busch Series points than 2nd. And he was driving for Greg Pollock. 16 career wins for him. In 535 starts, he's second overall on the all-time wins list. Thought he would surpass Kenny Wallace at 547 because he was, over the last decade, kind of spent the better part of that in start and park operations, would run for smaller teams, be a fill-in driver here and there. His last top 10 finish in the series was the 7th at Daytona in July of 2019 for Rod Sieg Racing. Aside from all his accolades in the Xfinity series, Busch was slash Busch series when Green was on top. 270 starts for him in the Cup Series. He's run for the Sadler brothers, Junior Johnson, Diamond Ridge Motorsports. That was a powerhouse in the Xfinity series back in the mid to late 90s. DEI, RCR, Felix Sabatis, Bud Moore, City Enterprises, CNC Haas Racing, which is now Stewart Haas Racing, Curtis Key, Front Row Motorsports, and Larry Gunzelman. His career best finish was second at Loudon, New Hampshire in July of 2002. And that was a good year for him in RCR. Pretty solid year. Had the playoffs existed then, he probably would have been one of those drivers on the cut line, bouncing back and forth in the playoffs, out of the playoffs. And really did really well in the 30 car for RCR, but unfortunately that ended for him, as he was outspoken about an on-track incident with him and Kevin Harvick, where he felt like Harvick was the only car at RCR, much documented. But in the Diamond Ridge car, what he did was exceptional, where he would run in the top 5 in equipment really that was not stellar. So this is kind of driver Jeff Green was. Anytime he was big part of the DEI organization in their infancy, really close to Dale Earnhardt Sr. But the Nesquik car, man, that car was fast. And he had won the championship over his teammate Jason Keller by almost 500 points. Over 500 points that year when he was the champion. And a really good career for Jeff Green. I wish that maybe he could have seen the winner's circle a little more in the Cup Series, or had a chance to even win a Cup race. So close at Loudon, New Hampshire. He ran second to Ward Burton that day. So it's really cool to see those two guys up front, but could have been a much better career, but nonetheless, he said that he enjoyed every bit of it, and really one of the staples in the Xfinity Series and Cup Series in the late to mid-90s, and really wish him a good retirement and hope he enjoys his life, and the good life, as he called it, in Kentucky, Owensboro, Kentucky native. Him and a little bit of trivia, him and his brother David are the only two sets of drivers to be champions in the Xfinity Series. Yeah, there's Terry Labonte and Bobby Labonte. So that's some pretty elite company to be in. Actually, no, I think it's Labonte in Cup and the Bushes in the Greens in the Busch Series. I'm talking about the Busch brothers. Busch brothers are also champions in the Cup Series, Kyle and Kurt. So nonetheless, some pretty elite company being two sets of brothers as champions, but a good career nonetheless for Jeff Green, and happy trails to Jeff Green, the 2000 Busch Series champion. So on to the 5 drivers to watch at the Charlotte Motor Speedway this week. No shock, Chase Elliott will be on the radar. Circuit of America's winner, fresh off that race win, lots of momentum. Well, he's the most popular driver in NASCAR, so all you conspiracy theorists out there, get on board with this. He wins the 269th win for Hendrick Motorsports, wins the 600. First time that Hendrick would have done that since 2012 with Casey Kane. So NASCAR is going to rig it. You heard it here first. Chase Elliott's winning the Coke 600. But don't tell anyone else, okay? So he was second in the Coke 600 a year ago. 4 top 5 finishes in the last 5 Charlotte races. So he gets around here really well. And everybody will be all on my case when he actually does win the race on Sunday. Martin Truex Jr., we all know the great performance he had at Charlotte in 2016. Led 392 of the 400 laps at the Coca-Cola 600. And has 3 Charlotte wins. He won Coke back in 19 in the fall of 2017. And 3 wins in 2021. 3 top 5s in the last 5 races. The last Charlotte races, all in the top 10 for him. So really good driver at Charlotte. Maybe, again, he sort of turned back the clock and went back to his Furniture Row racing form. Maybe he'll do the same here with the 19 car. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. needs a win to make the playoffs, well documented. But get this, say, well, why would you think Ricky Stenhouse would be a factor at Charlotte Motor Speedway? Well, he is fourth in the spring race last year at Charlotte, the first spring race, and the second one, the second spring race that Chase Elliott won. He was fourth in that one. He was last year fifth. He was fifth in 2019 in the 600. He made his career debut at the 600 in 2011, driving for the Wood Brothers. So lots of history for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at Charlotte. Again, sometime as we've seen in 2007 when Casey Mears won, it could come down to fuel mileage. Fuel mileage played a big part in this race in 2017 when Austin Dillon won. So this is a race that's known to produce unconventional winners in the past. Maybe Ricky Stenhouse will fall into that vein and make the playoffs, get JTG Doherty their first win since 2014. Just have to wait and see. But Ricky Stenhouse is someone I think you're going to keep your eye on Sunday night. And Ryan Blaney, he won Atlanta this year. Similar track to Charlotte, pretty much runs the same. A lot of the Penske conversation has not been centered around him, as we all know about Keselowski and his impending deal with Roush Fenway. We know about Joey Logano having another good season, sort of taking over the role as the top driver within the organization. Blaney's got the one win, third in both Charlotte races last year. So he's one to watch. He seems to get around these intermediate tracks really well. Keep your eye on the 12th car on Sunday night. And Chris Buescher, 10th last year in the Coke 600. 6th in 2019. So he knows how to get around this place really well. This team finds himself in a bit of flux now with the impending hire of Brett Keselowski. So he'll be a minority owner and as well as driver of the 6th car. So this Roush Fenway team has not won, get this, when they were just known as Roush Racing, has not won the Coke 600 since 2002 with Mark Martin. So what a better way to highlight the success they're having off the track recently with these negotiations with Keselowski. Then to win at the 600. Chris Buescher deserves a win. He's run really well this year. Just finding his comfort zone in the 17 car, and it just seems like a matter of time before he can squeak one out. And he knows how to win. He won with Front Row Motorsports in the Cup Series in 2016 at Pocono. So keep an eye on Chris Buescher. He is going to be someone that you should keep your eye on Sunday. And until then, I am going to wave the checker flag on this edition of Watching Win and Wreck. And I, again, sorry for the late episode this week. We'll try to get back on track next week and have that as a midweek drop instead of a Saturday morning drop, Saturday afternoon now drop. I just want to thank everyone who listens. The downloads are increasing, and I'm still enjoying doing this podcast. It's just put a lot of work and effort into this each and every week, and start my notes early in the week and try to make this really enjoyable listen for everyone. And thank my partner Amanda for always encouraging me to record this podcast and promoting this on our social media page on Instagram. And I really thank anyone who does take the time to give this a listen, because I really do enjoy talking about motorsports, and then really become invested my enthusiasm with NASCAR, and again, I'm more in love with the sport now than I have been in years, and I think it's partially due to this podcast and the great action that we've been seeing on the racetrack. But not when you take out Circuit Americas, but it's been a very good season. I think Fox is promoting this as the best season ever, and it could make a good case for that. I think 2001 was another memorable season for me in my NASCAR fandom, but this year has been very enjoyable, and I wish everyone a very good week. I hope you enjoy Coke 600 racing on Sunday at Charlotte. That's always a good event. Memorial Day weekend for the American fans of NASCAR, and the Indy 500 is back in May again. And then last year they did the late August. It was a bit bizarre to see the Indy 500 in late August, but here we are, and we'll see what happens on the IndyCar side. You're taking a big swig of the milk, the wreath around your neck, so it's quite the spectacle in Indianapolis this week. I think Danica Patrick is going to be Jimmy Johnson, part of the broadcast on NBC. Covering the race, and you could have, I think, Tony Kanaan, a guy who fan favorite, won the race a few years back, someone that to keep an eye on again is Chip Ganassi Racing, and Scott Dixon could win number 50 in the series. And then what a fitting way to do it in the 500. But some good memories of the Indy 500. I always enjoyed that. The one race I would always make time for an IndyCar to watch was the 500. And then you have the 600 in the evening. Then the double. No one's pulled the double since Kurt Busch back in 2014. So it's interesting to see. And Cody Ware and Rick Ware Racing is involved in the IndyCar series. So maybe one day we'll see Cody Ware run the 500. And Kyle Busch has expressed an interest in it. So it's kind of interesting how there's still that interest in IndyCar racing, even though the ratings have been down in recent years. And the competition is not quite as fierce as it once was. I remember the great battles between Dario Franchitti, Elio Castroneves, Will Power. So it seemed like shifted more in the direction of the younger drivers in the IndyCar series. Some names I don't really recognize when you look at the results today. But nonetheless, I wish everyone a very good week. Be good to one another. And until next time on Watching and Wrecking, I will see you.